And there we go. Welcome. Good morning. I'm Philip, and we are live on YouTube right now. And we are going to talk about motivation. And we have some questions prepared by Endel. I'm very excited for this meeting. And as you already know, we are going to introduce ourselves. And I know it's boring and we annoy you with the introductions, but think about the following. Every time you come to introduce yourself, it's a new chance for you to figure out about yourself a little bit and also to get to know each other better and learn vocabulary and learn how to present in a different way. Okay. So Jeff, would you mind being the first?
Of course, my friend, my boss. I'm Jefferson. I live in Goiânia. I'm handsome than Felipe. And I live in a city called Goiânia that is better than the city, Ricardo City. And I have the best team of Brazil, Vila Nova. I'm economist, the best economist of Goiás, and professor of Catholic University of Goiás. And I'm in here with the best host of TNT.
Yeah. Good to hear that. Tuesday morning. Thank you so much for that. Gabriel has just arrived. Welcome aboard. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. So I'm going to ask everybody else to introduce, and then I'm going to talk to you, okay?
Okay.
Lara, who are you?
Hi, everyone. So I am Lara. I am a hostess here on TNT. I live in São Paulo. I am 22. I have 2 cats. Unfortunately, São Paulo is not the best city of Brazil, but I think that's it. I am someone who likes to read. I work with IT as a data engineer and Python developer. I think that's it.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, and Lara has just arrived as a hostess. Have you started already? Or
yeah, yesterday. Yeah, it was.
And
really
how was
cool.
it?
It was really cool. I really loved the topic, and we talk a lot.
Is the difference, the experience being like
Yeah.
to lead the group and everything?
Yeah, you need to. I think that it's cool because you pay more attention in what other people are saying. You know, I think that you listen more, and it's a good experience.
Very nice. Good to hear that. Gabriel, are you there?
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Gabriel. I'm 35 years old. I came from Ribeirão Preto, São Paulo, but I live in Canada, in Quebec, since 2014. I speak French. I married and I have a daughter, and I work with data about food market.
Great, good. You know what? Here in Talk and Talk, we are about to launch a new way of doing networking, you know, because one of the main things here, it's not English, it's not language, it's people and their experience. And we are looking a way to create connections and to build like better profiles in our platform so everybody else can reach in an easy way, so we can do like business networking or something like that. So good to know we have another data person in here. We have a few, so welcome aboard. Good to meet you.
Thanks.
And finally, my friend Ricardo, it's your turn. Present yourself. Go ahead.
Well, my name is Ricardo. I live at São Vicente. It's the first city of Brazil. Is the Câmara. I don't know if you this word in English.
The city hall, maybe.
City hall could be. It's the series of the 3 Americas, and is the cellula mater of the Brazilian nationality. So in this case, I'm sorry, Jefferson, but my city is much more important. Particular my team, but that's okay. Our friendship is continue strong. Well, I have a daughter. She is 12 years old. I'm married. I work at a telecommunications company that's provide a lot of different services, sell telecommunications equipments and the telecommunications service to cloud and a lot of things. But I work normally use attend a contract between operator and the vendor. So in this case, I just made the
You're in
interface.
between. You're in the
Yeah.
in between.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good.
That's it. On my free time, I love to watch movies and spend time with my family and friends.
Great, great, very nice. We have some people from Santos, São Vicente, Guarujá.
Yeah.
I think we are going to have not this year, but beginning of the next year, on-site.
There is a Bruno.
Bruno
is from Santos.
Yeah, Andrea from Guarujá, but there are more people.
Okay.
And I'm Philip. I'm back on track. I'm stronger than ever. So I have been exercising myself now, as I did years ago. Like I was born like exercising myself. So now I'm back on track. Like it's been 3 weeks, but I feel like, okay, this is really the time. Though I'm going to travel tomorrow, so it's going to be tricky, but I'm not looking for a six-pack in my belly, but in here, in my brain. I'm just doing exercise for my mind. And I have done like triathlon, aquathlon, swimming marathons, São Silvestre already, some 5-10K running races. Yeah, a lot of swimming races as well, tennis, volleyball, soccer, climbing too, wakeboard a few times, surfing, not too much, but I love surfing as well. So I'm really a sport person, though I'm graduated in IT, right? So I'm back on track, and this is really for real now. And the topic it's motivation, and I think that's it's really about ourselves as well. I'm just going to do it quickly. The first one. What do you people think about the difference between extrinsic and intrinsic motivation? The motivation from inside and the motivation from the outside. What's the difference? Just like 2 people to answer this one.
I think extrinsic is about rewards as the video show it. So, you will gain something, money or a prize or something like this. And intrinsic is something that you do more for yourself. Maybe you are, be rewarded or not, but you do to feel better with yourself, I think.
Great. Anyone else?
Yeah. I think intrinsic, when you think about itself, your own sake, your own rights, you think about yourself, and you have a real words, as we saw by the film. The real words will satisfy, and extrinsic is the contrary. You can control. You must for example, to avoid something that's not good, or not to earn a real rewards, or to avoid a punishment. Maybe something like this.
Great. Anyone else has something different from these 2 answers? So we can
some people correlated the things that's the group or the each person. if you have a price, oh, I don't know, the sell team reach some quantity of sales. So in this case, the all team receive a price, but the salesman that to sell more, I don't know, products receive an individual price. Sometimes some people I listen to this difference. I don't know if exactly because I'm not expert.
No, yeah, don't need to be, but that's a good answer. That's a good, I think the view of each person, it's really awesome in here. So we can really think about different ways, you know, because sometimes we are just focused on ourselves and our ego and everything. Listening to others, it's really important. And going forward to the next question, because I don't want, okay, usually we start with the definition, the concepts of the topic to warm us up. But when it comes to learn English, and I think that's the topic everybody enjoys talking, and we have talked a lot already. What is your motivation? Is it comes from the inside, the outside? Why? How was in the past? How is it now? And I want to hear first, Gabriel. How is it? Where does your motivation come from?
I have a very objective motivation to learn English because I live in a place where the people speak French, but I want to move to another province, and my English is not very good, and for my daughter too. Sadly, Quebec fights against English every day, and but it's a small province. It's who cares about Quebec? The money, the very interesting things is in the United States and the rest of Canada, and but for example, in 2013. I had a lot of motivation to learning French to come here because Quebec one of official language is French, and now I think a lot in my daughter because she's born here. In my mind, she must English very well, not like me, not like Brazilians, Indians, like a native speaker. Otherwise, this is a bottleneck in your career because it's hard to be successful in United States with a foreign English. And my motivation is that.
Great. I think when it comes to real life and you feel pain, then that's the best motivation, the outer motivation, you know? So, yeah. And then you commit yourself to what it takes to really learn the language. And you, Ricardo, where does your motivation come from?
I'm not a good student in this topic, I think. I think is of to motivation from outside. For example, a great environment in my office. For example, I love when the people feel well, talk with each other. That's a kind of that's a weird motivation, but I love to reach on my office and note that the people joke with each other. I have a tranquil behavior, and these things could me became more motivated. I love that the guys using respect for every people, but it's I normally I use the motivation for other people, but not in my case. Sometimes it's more difficult for me.
It happens a lot with a lot of people
Yeah.
because I think it's easier, right? But usually what I see, and I do that too much as well,
Yeah.
like advising and trying to help. And
Mhm.
when we do that, we are doing to ourselves as well. So if I tell you, hey, you need to do this, did that, and blah, blah. But I'm also telling myself that I need to do it, you know? What do you think, Jefferson?
Because you are a coach, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like-
No, I'm not a coach. I do have friends that they are. I have already I have had a girlfriend that she was a coach, but yeah, just
but
kidding.
you seems like a coach.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'm not.
You can tell us, but I think it's true. That's the reality. And my motivation for English, I think it's so nice when you can talk, when you can read, when you can listen, when you can write in another language. And English is the main language of the world now. You have more than 76 countries in the world now speaking English. That's why you must be good at English.
Yeah.
Not like a native, because we have only 4% of the people of the world that's native in English, only 4%. And in my age, it's impossible to be. It's impossible. It's impossible. But I have two daughters living in Canada that speaks like American, like Canadian.
Yeah.
Very good English. Very good English.
I'm gonna say you are my motivation to get better in English.
And that's yeah. Because I need to talk with I need to talk with them with the same level, but I think it's impossible. But
it's not impossible, but you need to balance the pain and the process, the journey. Do you want to really get what it takes to really improve like the pronunciation in another level or to sound like a native? I don't think it's necessary, but there are people that they really want that, like to sound like a British person, you know?
It's really. And about the extrinsic, I think is when I receive prize for my English is getting better. I feel so nice. I feel so good when I listen. Guys like Felipe used to say, "You are better now than 1.5 years ago."
Yeah, and you are. If you compare, I remember in the first meetings you were here, you were more like slow and a lot of nes and some Portuguese in the middle. So and there's no miracle, So and I think the language itself, it's powerful to use it instead of knowing it so much. And I do believe like speaking in a way like we are doing here, it's much more important than knowing all the rules about the language. Of course, it's important and it's cool and there's power within, but yeah, if we are waiting for the best English ever, we are not going to reach. I haven't yet,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And you, Lara, where does your motivation in English comes from?
I wanted to learn English since I was a kid, but I never had the tools to do it. So I always had this intrinsic motivation to communicate with people. I don't like to have barriers to communicate with people. So I always wanted this to communicate, to understand about other cultures. And I always try it, but I never get it too much of it. But what really changed the game for me was extrinsic motivation when I started this year in a company that I needed English to communicate with clients and etc. You know, so I think that both, but what really changed the game, what made me do the first move was the extrinsic motivation.
Yes, very nice. Very good. I think my motivation to keep learning English, it's the intrinsic, it's really to keep in touch because I remember recently I was like away from English for 2-3 months, like speaking, because listening and everything, I read and I consume and I learn a lot in English, not in Portuguese. So I feel really natural for me to listen podcasts, to watch movies, to watch news and everything in English. For me, it's like Portuguese. But to speak, I have been away from English for 2-3 months. And when I got back, I felt like rusty and it wasn't, it wasn't good. It wasn't natural. Like I was speaking, but there was something in here that was like not feeling well. So that's really the motivation, and the extrinsic, it's really to be among people like all of you. And this is the real purpose of learning a language for me. I'm learning a new language, that's Spanish, to talk to other people, to different people from English, because I'm bored about people in English. No, just kidding, just kidding. But when you change languages, there are other people as well, other experiences, other things to learn. And I love learning. I do not like studying, but I love learning. Though I study a lot. But I do like, it's not my passion. But my passion is to learn. I love learning.
You are a lazy guy, but no problem.
Yeah. So, and what about the other areas? How do you feel? Like we were talking about learning languages, English and everything, but what about other areas that you have, like the work, leisure, family, friends, relationships, studies in other areas, maybe your health, your body, your mind? What about other areas, Ricardo? How does it work, the motivation for you? How do you see that? You can just choose an area like work, your lifestyle, hobbies, your relationships. Where does the motivation come from? It comes from the inside out. It comes from the outside in. How does it work?
Well, I use a bad motivation. The most part of the times, that's the fear. It's not a cool, certainly, but normally the motivation in my case come from of the fear, because I don't know, and not exactly I like it to my job. That's a real great company. They pay a good salary. I have a lot of benefits, and
That's a good motivation.
there aren't any problem. But sometimes I have fear, and well, in this case, I don't allow me, for example, don't have less than 100% in my work, and if you don't focus on my job, I feel bad, and I feel fear. I feel afraid of if you have some problem. In my personal life is similar. For example, I have to study, and well, if you don't study, I have a bad feeling. That's weird, because in the same time I like to study, I like to receive information. It's more similar to you, Philip. I love to receive information. I love to receive knowledge, but it's not possible to because these two things is the same way. It's necessary to work hard, to study, to receive. But sometimes I love to watch news, for example. I love to listen to radio and in this or even books. But sometimes there are a kind of
A lot of
fear.
information. Yeah.
Yeah, and there are a lot of information too sometimes, particularly in my area. That's I respect every job.
When it starts with I respect everybody.
Yeah, I
Be
respect.
careful. Be
You know,
careful.
that's I respect every job certainly, but in my opinion, I think is the technological field is the worst about this circumstance because the things change every day. Every day creates a lot of new softwares and new I don't know. I think there are a lot of stuff every day. It's not possible to follow, in my opinion. But I try.
Yeah. Very nice.
I agree with you, but I think now I am more thinking, there had a time that I thought that I needed to learn everything, but now I just think it's okay not knowing everything, and I just deal with that, and I learn things that I need to learn for what I need to do, you know?
Yeah.
And you, Gabriel, all the areas in our life, where does the motivation come from?
For example, to be a healthy senior, I make exercise every day. I make a treadmill and musculation to keep my mobility at the age of 80s, 90s. And normally for me, the motivation is very objective. And I make investments to retire early, to know many countries. And I work with technology too. It's a challenge every day. It's a new thing you must learn. Sometimes it's very boring and hard, but sometimes I have a pleasure. And I love other subjects like self-improvement. And I try read about that to develop other side of my brain. And that is
Very nice. I'm gonna say sorry. I have like a company that's going to fix the mirrors in here, and I'll have to go downstairs, and it's gonna take a while. So I'm gonna choose Lara to help me out with this to keep going, and I'll be right back like in 15, 20 minutes top. And I'm sorry about that. Okay.
Okay, no worries. Gabriel, what you said, it's really nice about doing exercises, not, just for who we want to be in 3 months, but in the future. I think that is really important, and I always think about that. It's really cool. And about you, Jefferson, what do you think? With your motivations?
Well, about exercise, I think it's very good to discuss about this because I was in the gym today because it's not just about health, but about mental health. When I go to the gym, I talk a lot with a lot of friends, and I spend too much time talking about the life, about soccer, about politicians, and movies, and a lot of things. I think this motivates me a lot. And the other kind of motivation in my work, I'm trying to do my best to learn about advanced Excel, about business intelligence, and I work with my students and professors, and I love when we can combine the Excel and the business intelligence with data to solve problems. I love to discuss our reality today, the Brazilian reality, and we have a lot of numbers from the IBGE, Banco Central, and etc. I love to discuss this. I feel very motivated to do this every day. And the other motivation is to learn a language. I love to talk in English, to talk Spanish. In the past, I used to talk French, not now in German. In the past, maybe one day I will back to speak French and German, maybe in the future. Not now. My priority now is to speak English and Spanish. But I love when I'm able to watch a film in another language, and to use to say now I can understand the movie, and I love when I see this. And even about music, when I love to listen music, when I used to listen, for example, Phil Collins, and to say, oh, very good lyrics of Phil Collins. I love this guy. That's it.
Yeah, and what you say about your work, do you do this for intrinsic motivation? You know, you are a teacher, so for example, you can give any kind of class, but you use Excel and you do advanced data analysis because of intrinsic motivation or extrinsic motivation?
I think it's both. It's both. Yeah, it's both. Because it's very important. I think it is not just to learn about Excel, but to put in practice and to solve problems. I love. We discussion, for example, about the inflation in Brazil. And we have a lot of numbers, and you can put in Excel or business intelligence and to discuss with the students and other professors. I have two resources, very interesting, and I use this a lot.
Yeah, and this skill of analyzing data is really important for all people. We need this to be more critical about the things that we do. So it's really nice. For me, I think that more of my motivation are intrinsic when talking about leisure time or relationships. But talking about work, for example, or learning something new, I always have extrinsic motivation to do the first move. But what made me keep going is the intrinsic motivation. So, for example, I started here on TNT because I needed to communicate at work. Now I can communicate and it's totally okay, but I keep here because I think that I need to learn more things to be able to communicate more and know more about people. You know, I want to ask more questions and be able to hold more conversations with people. And also I am started learning Spanish this week. So I started this week, and not because of extrinsic motivation, but because I think that learning English made me feel so good that I think that I want this for Spanish too. I will not be rewarded for it, but it will be good for me too. I think that's it. So question 4, which motivation help you accomplish more, intrinsic or extrinsic, and why? I will just answer this one. As I said, I think that extrinsic made me do the first move, but what keeps me moving is the intrinsic motivation. And you, Ricardo, which motivation helps you accomplish more?
I always say the same thing. The talk and talk is hard to answer, even in Portuguese.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think in Portuguese is easier, but in English is difficult. But I think sometimes I think is the both language is hard to say.
There has questions here that I never answered in Portuguese, you know, and I need to think
exactly.
answer this in English.
I don't know. I think you talk about the number
4.
4. Yeah. I think is always when the motivation come from your heart, your inside, is always better. Sometimes I notice the people from Northwest, particular, they sometimes the people don't have water, the basic thing, or food, but they have faith. Is incredible situation, in my opinion, because sometimes I wake up on my bed, on my house, I have food, I have family, and there are some people that I don't know if you, how do you found this motivation in the everyday. These guys wake up early, and sometimes I found for water, and I don't know, but I think is in my opinion, I think is the, because sometimes do have excellent environment, excellent information, knowledge, and I don't know, sometimes is weird, because well, there are a group of people, and one of them, for example, sell more products for other. Why? Sometimes a specific guy wanted to receive more money, but sometimes, well, I wonder, well, the 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 people receives the same profit. Well, if you sell the same quantity, I receive the same payment. But I don't know why. One of them sell much more, search more customers, and well, that's the best salesman from this company, and I just wonder, well, what's different thing that this guy has on your brain. Sometimes it's about communication, that's, yeah, but sometimes there is a kind of motivation because this guy improve a lot your feeling, your communication, because he had motivation, but it's not exactly answer, but I think it's just another question. Talking, love to make questions, and this time I propose another question. That's it.
Yeah, it's good. I think that it made me reflect a lot. And I think that intrinsic motivation is also related to purpose, you know. So I think that we need this, you know, to our day-to-day, because if you are just with extrinsic motivation, will be a moment that will be dismotivated about it. Like, I will just this for the money. I don't know if I want to this, but maybe there has people that just want money. That's okay too. What do you think, Jefferson?
I think the main is the challenge. You have most of challenge in your life, a lot of challenges. And intrinsically, my challenge is to read every day more and more, to know about a lot of things about the world, about my country. My country, for me, it's motivate me a lot. That's why most of the time I'm reading about economics. I think it's very important for me. And extrinsically, is to be recognized. I love to be recognized. When I talk with the students, professor, you had a very good class or something like this, and I learned something new from you, and I love to listen to this kind of thing. When I find a former students, they used to say, now I'm working very good company, and I remember what you used to say in class. This motivated me a lot. This is a kind of extrinsic. It's the price that we learn when we try to do our best. And I try to do my best in everything that I do.
Yeah, it's really important, and I also think that it's about self-worth. It's increase our self-worth and our self-confidence a lot. What do you think, Gabriel?
I think it's for me, intrinsic motivation can be take my more high, more, because it's my wishes, it's my decision. I think it's stronger than you just extrinsic motivation. I see like you make some things just because other people's do, and this motivation ends very fast. But when it's came from your hurt, your thoughts, your desire, it's very powerful.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Let's go to the question 7. I want to know how to deal with that, because the important thing that we can learn a lot with each other. So when you find yourself stuck doing repetitive work, how do you motivate yourself to continue? Gabriel, what do you do?
I try to see the things in the future. When I achieve my goals, how good I will be, how happy I will be when I achieve one goal, other goals, etc. But I think it's the keeping motivated. We don't keep motivated every day. It's normal. We are humans. You are not machines. For me, I learn. It's hard, but I learn, make the things I must do, even I don't the motivation, or I don't like make this thing. It's for me, it's discipline is stronger than motivation. I must make that thing if I motivated or not, because is the characteristic then separates the success to failure. And I try to see in the future the things, but I make the things even I don't motivated.
Yeah, good point. I think that discipline and motivation, we will not always have motivation, but just need to have, to accomplish our goals. What do you think about that, Jefferson?
I think you must look for a new strategy, something very different. and not to get bored about something that you're doing at the same time, repetitive work. You must do something very different. And I try to do this every day. It's not so easy, not so easy. Sometimes terrible. For example, about classes, to lecture. It's not so easy today. You have a lot of innovation, strategy, etc., etc. And some guys, they didn't draw attention for you, just look for cellular, TikTok, something like this. And they didn't pay attention for you. This is terrible. I think this is a terrible situation. But I try every day. I try a new strategy. I used to ask something for the guy with cell phone. It's okay. What do you think about now the result of inflation from the BGF, for example? Look in your cellular now, and they look. It's okay. This is I have a lot of strategy to use this, and I have been used this a lot. You can use your cell phone in class, no problem. But most of the time, I'm asking somebody that can pay attention or draw attention for my class. And this is a kind of motivated. But it's terrible, as I said. I can't imagine somebody doing the same work for 30 years. I can't imagine. But in my case, as a professional, I have a lot of strategy, and I feel very comfortable about it.
Yes, you are always reinventing yourself. And something that is really good about what you said is that you are not just motivating yourself, but you're also motivating others, to keep on this track. So this is a really good strategy. And you, Ricardo, what do you think?
Well, I think I don't answer this question, but I wanted to tell about other thing. It's similar, but it's the same topic, but it's another other direction. I think is the secret of our motivation, in my opinion, could be on the find your passion. I think is when you could find your passion, for example, Jefferson, is much better because I don't know. My teacher ever told me about a phrase. I think is if you remember, he tell about Agostinho, Saint Agostinho, work with your love, because if it's necessary, it's not necessary to work each day in your life. Trabalhe com o que você ama, pois assim você nunca vai precisar trabalhar.
Work what you love and you're gonna hate what you love.
And sometimes, for example, I noticed, for example, soccer players or even any kind of sport. Sometimes there are a kid, wow, to play soccer or volleyball, and the kid play every day, and it's not dislike from this thing. And sometimes I notice a soccer player, because I love soccer and follow more. And when this guy retired from this career, sometimes there are a lot of problems. You feel bad, and sometimes commit suicide in some cases. Sometimes the people encourage soccer players to prepare your future, because when you retire, it is possible to have problems. But I think this guy love soccer and work with them, certainly it's possible to continue. It's possible to become a reporter, but sometimes it's difficult. And I think I don't know, but it's not possible, or just is very difficult to find your passion. In the other countries is better, because sometimes I notice that the education try to put the kids in knowledge about a lot of different professions and the other activities. In Brazil is worse, because I can't see any I can't find any good education from this area, I think. But I don't know if it's possible for everyone find this passion. Right? That's it.
Yeah, and I'm back, and I'm sorry. It took me a while. How was it, Lara? Did they behave well?
Yeah, it was really good. I could learn a lot about how to stay motivated. And it's really, really good to see other people's perspective. I think that Tinti always given it to us. So I really enjoy it.
Yeah, and my motivation to
Lara is a good driver.
Yeah,
It's a very good driver.
Great. We have just like 1 minute left, and I just want to say that what keeps me motivated to keep running and bringing new features and update everything and to bring new hosts and new students is really to believe that the way we are learning languages, it's being a waste of time for most people, because we're learning, studying, but we are not really speaking out. So that's what drives me to thrive and to bring new things. So we have the study plan, the planner, the roadmap now, and we are bringing more things. And we are going to change names before the end of the year. We are going to update our name to make it easier to speak and to remember, to memorize. So we are working on a new brand right now, new app and everything. So there are a lot of things to come up until the end of the year. That's the reason why we don't have t-shirts yet and everything, because I'm just holding up to bring the updates. So thank you so much. I'm hosting the Spanish on Friday morning, 9 a.m. Okay, so if you want to practice Spanish, I'm there. And this week's topic, it's talking about, is there love in relationships? So it's going to be nice. So thank you, Gabriel, Ricardo, Lara, Jefferson. Hope to see you pretty soon, and have a great day.
Thank you. Nice day, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
See ya.
Nice to